if you want evidence of this non-duality thing, what they mean also about that, not only mind and body or mind and brain, but also self and other. So this idea of non-duality, it's one of the, you asked about a universal truth the other day. Non-duality runs through everything. It's one of the universal truths of all existence. So neuroscience hasn't reached that level, or social science hasn't, but it's getting there. It's getting there. The fact that we're not separate, and that it's leading to the conclusion that we cannot separate ourselves from other ones, the world, or other people. That in fact, we're somehow linked. So you can easily see this, the evidence of this. You already know what it's like to realize non-dualist in your life. And it's those times when this two states you can recognize throughout the day. When everything just is going really well, and you're out in society, and you're meeting people, and you just seem to be very interested in everybody that's around you, and you go to the store, and for some reason, someone holds the door open for you and smiles, and then you go to get your coffee, and the girl at the cashier seems to be take an interest in you and gives you a special smile, and you just feel very at peace and very comfortable in your surroundings, your social surroundings, and it just feels like you're in sync with people, and you may have some interchange with someone, and something serendipitous happens, or you in the conversation, and you just like have a meeting for a moment. You connect with some individual, and that feeds on itself, and then it happens again, and for a while you just feel like you're totally you're a perfect fit with the world around you, with the people around you. Everything is just sort of this, so there's no sense of separation. It's sort of bliss in that. That is the realization that we're not a separate being. So the whole teaching of non-duality is that we're not separate. We're not a separate being. There is no such thing as a separate self. That's the most beautiful, ultimate nature of non-dual teaching, is that there's the idea of the separate self is an illusion. And it's the worst type of ignorance to think that we have a separate self, because that's then goes all into the ego. So there's no such thing as a separate self. It's just an illusion. It's just a fabrication of the ego. So what I'm saying is, when you're moving around society, everything just seems to be, the world seems to be a beautiful place, and people seem to be beautiful, and everything. That's the world, the sky, nature, everything just seems to be beautiful that day for those moments. That's the truth. That's in where you could see the truth of this non-dual teaching. Now, when something else goes wrong, and things aren't going right, and things are frustrating you, and people are disgusting you, and you're out in traffic, and things are bothering you, seem to meet these jerky people or rude people, that's when you're operating under the assumption that you're the illusion of a separate self. So whenever you feel the negativity and the judgment and the cynicism and the sarcasm and the judgmental attitude, that's when the idea of I'm a separate self, and this rest of the world is in my way or impinging upon what I want. So you see, you go back and forth based upon your attitude towards the world. You could say, oh, am I operating as if I'm a separate self, and I'm all constricted, and like things are bothering me and people are bothering me? Or am I open and engaged with my world and my environment? So those are the two ways you can know. And before you ever learned about any of this stuff, you were doing that. So you could always look at yourself, how am I acting? How am I behaving right now as if I'm a separate self here? Or am I operating within the truth that there is no sense of separate self, and that I am connected, and that we're all connected. So the indicator of it is how the feeling connected. So it could be at home with your family. That's a great time to look at it. When you're feeling like things aren't going wrong, and this one's doing this wrong, and I have to judge them. It's like I need to control this or that or whatever, and she's not responding to what, she's not giving me what I want, or they're not doing what I expect them to do. All that shit that goes on between people, like you're expecting, like you're a separate self and you're controlling other people or something like that. So whenever there's interpersonal conflict, there's a sense of separateness. And that's where it comes from. That feeling of separateness is what causes that conflict. But rather, when you feel like you're part of this little social system and you're intimately connected and everything's interconnected, there's a completely different mindset. There's a compassion. In other words, what I do affects other people and what they do affects me. And we're interconnected and involved. That closeness. So we see it in the level of connectedness we feel, or interrelatedness with others in the world. Whether we're living the right way or the wrong way, the ignorant way or the wisdom way. And the more negative feelings we have that exist as projections towards other people, the more we're believing that, oh, I'm a separate self. And I have to protect something. I have to protect... you get it? I'm not doing a great job of explaining it, but that's all about non-duality and the teaching and Buddhism, is that there's no independent entity. Buddhism teaches there's nothing of independent. Everything's interconnected. Man, environment, others, men with other people, and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that's it.